today's world, a single post can go viral in seconds, shaping opinions, fueling tensions, and even influencing foreign policy. Social media isn't just a communication tool anymore. It's a battlefield of narratives in international relations. In this presentation, we'll show you how digital platforms can turn conflicts global, spread misinformation, and challenge traditional diplomacy.
Today, I will be presenting a case study on the Israel-Palestine conflict and how social media plays a complex and dangerous role in shaping international perceptions and response. The Israel-Palestine conflict is one of the most emotionally charged and globally discussed issues on social media, especially during periods of escalation such as in 2021 and more recently in 2023. Platforms like X, Instagram, and TikTok have become digital battlegrounds. They are flooded with visual narratives and hashtags that reach millions within seconds. But while this rapid flow of information can raise awareness, it also creates serious risks. First, both sides actively use social media to justify their actions, but often through misinformation, edited clip, or even fabricated content. This makes it hard for audience to know what's real and what's not. Second, there's a lack of context. Due to short videos or emotionally edited footage, sometimes the victims appears to be the aggressors, all because of a specific camera angle or misleading captions. Third, some individual, even influencers, exploit this suffering for personal gain. They repost shocking content not to inform or help, but simply to increase views, followers, or ad revenue. This deeply undermines the actual human tragedy behind the conflict. But despite all this chaos, it's also important to recognize that for many Palestinians, social media is their only voice. When mainstream media access is blocked or restricted, platforms like TikTok or Instagram become the only tools to show the world what is happening on the ground. In that sense, social media becomes not just a digital platform, but a survival tool and even form a resistance. Now let's look at the consequences of this digital conflict and how it impacts international relations. First, global audiences are becoming increasingly polarized, and most of them don't have the full historical or political background to understand the roots of the conflict. This leads to mass protests, clashes between diaspora communities, for examples like Muslim and Jews in Europe or North America, and a sharp rise in online hate speech and digital hostility. Second, public pressure on governments is rising. Leaders are sometimes pushed to take sides or issue statements not based on verified facts or diplomatic assessment, but based on what's trending or what is emotionally viral. This weakens the actual diplomatic process. Third, social media narratives can directly undermine diplomacy. Negotiations become harder when the public already has strong, emotionally charged expectations. Governments lose room to act neutrally. And finally, non-state actors now have the power to influence war narrative without being held accountable. These actors can be individuals, organizations, or even bots, spreading disinformation and steering division at a global scale. Let's now connect this with other theories. From a realist perspective, social media is viewed as part of modern warfare. It's an information weapon used to win legitimacy, weakens enemies, and shape public opinion, all without using physical force. From a constructivist perspective, social media is not just a tool. It shapes identities, values, and perceptions. For example, hashtags like All Eyes on Rafah don't just go viral, they create global solidarity and turn a national conflict into a shared human cause. From a liberal perspective, social media has the potential for global cooperation. It allows for civil society participation, human rights advocacy, and the sharing of humanitarian needs. But at the same time, it highlights the urgent need to media regulation and digital literacy to prevent harm.
At the end of 2023, there was a resurgence of the boycott movement that was carried out by almost the entire world. The boycott, divestment, and sanction (BDS) movement is an effort to end international support for Israel occupation of Palestinians and pressure Israel to comply with international law. This is supported by the spirit of boycott, divestment, and sanction campaign through the news portal, blogs, Facebook page, Twitter account, and various other media. The impact on international relations is boycott can worsen diplomatic relations between the boycotting country and the targeted country. Boycott can cause a significant decline in export and foreign investment, especially in the targeted country. Boycott can lead to a large decrease in the workforce of the company concerned. If you look at the economic theory of mercantilism, The boycott movement against a country is a detrimental thing because it can disrupt the import and export process in the country.
Undermining trust in international organizations. Case study is COVID-19, misinformation, and WHO. So, during the pandemic, false claims about COVID-19 vaccines and the World Health Organizations, or WHO, spread rapidly. Conspiracy theories weakened public trust in international health responses and created tensions between countries, such as accusations between the US and China over virus origins. And the impact on international relations is that first one is diplomatic tensions and blame games. So, the United States and China accuse each other of mismanaging the pandemic and spreading misinformations. This worsened already strained relations and increased global polarizations as countries took sides or distanced themselves from both powers. The second one is the rise of vaccine nationalism. So, countries began prioritizing their own populations, hoarding vaccines, and spreading doubt about rival vaccine brands. Social media amplified these narratives, making it harder for COVAX and other global initiatives to ensure fair distribution. Now, we move on to the theoretical perspective. From a liberalist perspective, misinformation undermines trust in international institutions like the WHO, weakening global solidarity and delaying a unified response. In contrast, realists view this disruption as a reflection of the anarchic world order where states prioritize survival and power, even using misinformation as a strategic tool.
India-Pakistan disinformation and propaganda. In May 2025, tensions between India and Pakistan rose sharply after a militant attack in Kashmir. Social media became the main channel through which disinformation was spread from both sides. In India, several major media outlets broadcast univerified claims such as an attack on Pakistani nuclear bases and the arrest of military leaders, which turned out to be hoaxes. Meanwhile, Pakistan also spread fake video and image, including untrue claims of military victory. Both countries use social media to attack influencers and celebrities from the opposite country, exacerbating the atmosphere of hatred and tension. So the impact on international relations: for the first, tensions between the two countries are heightened, and then public confusion due to the spread of the fake news and propaganda. The public do not understand what the real situation is, and it can evoke public attitudes and public views throughout the government and foreign policy. The theoretical perspective: in the realist view, the international world is characterized by anarchy where there is no central authority regulating state behavior. This encourages in India and Pakistan to use propaganda and disinformation as tools to gain strategic advantage and overcome the inequality created by their rivalry. Whereas liberals believe that through international cooperation, disinformation will not occur and can ever help overcome disinformation itself.
So the case study that I picked was Russian social media manipulation in the 2016 US election. So in 2016, Russian operatives from the Internet Research Agency used fake social media accounts to spread disinformation and stir division among US voters. Their goal was to manipulate the public opinion, harm Hillary Clinton campaign, and support Donald Trump. US intelligence later confirmed it was a coordinated effort to interfere with election through digital platforms. The impact on the international relation itself was 1. The tension between the two countries get heightened. The US imposed sanctions on Russian individuals and institutions. Bilateral relations worsened and a narrative of cyber warfare emerged. The second is public confusion due to the spread of the fake news. Because of the fake news, no one knew about the new or the real information about what's happening. They doesn't know about it. And it's make people more confused of the reality itself. The third is global shift in digital security policies. The NATO, the EU, and democratic nations began strengthening cyber defense and start treating social media as a strategic security domain. And the last is crisis of trust in Western democracy. Western countries realize their electoral systems are vulnerable to non-military foreign influence, such as social media. And from the political theories was, from a realist perspective, countries focus primarily on protecting their own interests and security, often willing to do whatever it takes to gain or maintain powers. Russia's use of social media and disinformation was a calculated effort to undermine the United States, its main rivals, without resorting to open warfare. By taking advantage of the weaknesses in online platforms, conflict aimed of disrupting American democracy and reducing the US influence on the world stage. This approach fits well with realism ideas that states rely on covert action and unconventional methods to secure their power in a world where no central authority exists.
Social media is not inherently good or bad. Is it a tool? And like all tools, its impact depends on how we use it.
As students of international relations, we are witnessing a new kind of battlefield, one where power is no longer measured only in weapons or threats, but in likes, retweets, and viral influence.
The dangers of misinformation, polarizations, and cyber manipulation are very real, yet so is the potential for diplomacy, global advocacy, and meaningful dialogue.
Social media can divide, but it can also connect. In conflict zone, it became more than just a platform. It is a lifeline and a tool of survival. When traditional media is blocked or silenced, digital platforms become the only way for people to speak on the world.
This is why, moving forward, the real challenge is to balance freedom and responsibility in our digital space, because only then can social media become not a threat, but a force for peace, truth, and global cooperation.